This first one comes from Carmelita Tooney, who writes, "Hello, Mr. Campia and the rest of the AMC crew. I still remember when you said that video game writers shouldn't write video game movies. And that got me thinking, well, what about comic book movies? I was wondering, what do you think of comic writers writing comic book movies? Do you think it would change comic book movies for the better or for the worse?" Thanks a lot for the question. I got to say this. Writing screenplays and writing comic books are two completely, wildly different things. And I think just because somebody is really good at one does not mean they would be good at the other. I'll give you an example, just a personal example. I wrote and directed a film, and I actually I like my screenplay. I thought I did a pretty good job on it. But then I have this new project that I'm working on, and at first I thought I would make it into a comic book, a graphic novel. And I realized I really sucked at trying to write comic books. It's a completely different thing. It's the way you have to structure and the way it works, and you're working visually as well as anything else on a printed page. So it's a completely different medium as well. And I had such a hard time trying to write that, not because it's harder or not because it's better or worse, but because it's so different. I was pretty good at one thing, but absolutely horrible at another. So, they're worlds apart. So just because a guy can write a great comic book, that doesn't necessarily mean they can write a screenplay. And vice versa, obviously. They can be. Now, that doesn't mean they can't do it, but I think it's two really, really different things. It's kind of like saying, hey, this guy is this guy was great at fixing bathrooms. Awesome at fixing bathrooms. Let's have him design the next USS Enterprise. It's just different things. Now, would it change it for the better or for the worse? Well, I think we can all agree that comic book movies right now are amazing. At least they've gotten so good. When you're talking about films like The Dark Knight, and you're talking about films like X-Men 2, and you're talking about films like The Amazing Spider-Man or The Avengers, the bar has been raised really high with comic book movies that it's difficult to imagine getting a lot better. So, when you got guys like David Goyer and Christopher Nolan and Joss Whedon and, writing screenplays for these amazing comic book movies, are we really in a position where we say, we need better writers? I don't think so. I think personally, for my opinion, and you may have a different opinion, which is cool, but my opinion is let screenwriters write screenplays and let comic book writers write comic books. And sometimes there'll be crossover, but just because one's good at one thing doesn't necessarily they'll be good at the other.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.